Back in the restaurant, I was discovering that Abraham Lincoln was assassinated because he created the perfect recipe for a vegetarian chicken soup using a product made from soy. Jerry was a conspiracy theorist, and although a classic stereotype, almost everything he said sounded plausible. Yeah, I'll go with you. Oswald couldn't have acted alone. It's certainly possible the moon landing was a hoax. The Bush family tied to the Nazis? Why not? I heard myself say. I told Jerry that people might have more time to listen to what he had to say if he improved his presentation skills. I can't, and I don't want to read this, Jerry, I said, holding the disheveled piece of paper. You're doing yourself a huge disservice by presenting your ideas like this. Go to Kinko's, type it up on a computer and photocopy it. It'll cost you like $5. A computer, said Jerry. Hey man, I don't want to be in the system. Dude, they won't ask you for your name, and if they do, just make one up. I make up names all the time. Jerry had become so consumed with not believing anything that he doubted everything. Even cold hard facts. I discovered this when I presented him with the bill to pay for his 2 beers. Hey friend. He'd already forgotten my name. Excellent. From now on I would be known as Victor or Hugo. You charged me for 2 buds, but I only had the 1. Actually, Jerry, it was 2. You're drinking that 1, and the empty from the first round is right there by your bag. Okay, man, if you say so, he muttered as he pulled out 6 crumpled $1 bills from his pocket. Jerry left, and I felt pretty good about myself. Maybe this man was a champion of truth, and with my encouragement, maybe a larger, more receptive audience will hear his voice. 5 days later, Jerry came back. I had hoped that my work was done, and there was no need for us to continue our relationship. He sat down and ordered a beer. He seemed very excited about something. It was a lot busier at the bar than when he'd last visited, and initially I wasn't able to pay much attention. Up the street, Les Miserables was doing great business. Affluent San Franciscans snapped up the expensive theater tickets. On the 2-block walk up to the theater from the restaurant, the tuxedos and evening gowns were careful to avoid eye contact with the homeless and the wretched that were begging for loose change. Once inside the theater, they cried and cheered for the French peasants. After the show, the audience streamed down the street in a glittering multi-million-dollar conga line, once again stepping over and ignoring the indigent. If only more of San Francisco's homeless people spoke French and could sing, I thought. These people would welcome them into their homes. When things calmed down, I was able to find out what Jerry was so excited about. He delved into his bag and pulled out a huge stack of photocopied typed manifestos. Wow, I said, you did it! He handed me one. This looks great! Look at it, he said. I started to read. Bush is satin. George U. Bush, he that does feed on the blood of our children, was fearns to the Hitler family. Oh my God, what have I done? He smiled at me, hopefully, desperate for my seal of approval. Jerry, you spelled W wrong, I said. Have I? Said Jerry. Where? George W. Bush. It's actually a W and not 2 U's. Are you sure? Said Jerry. Then he asked me if he could leave a stack of his manifestos on the bar. I looked around at my sharply dressed conservative clientele and said, I'm sorry, Jerry, I can't. They'll fire me, man. Oh, okay, I understand, he said. I knew he didn't understand. He just sat there quietly reading his manifesto, feeling sorry for himself. It was as if I was a beautiful woman that had given him a long pep talk. If you just got a nice haircut, shaved, wore some nice clothes, you'd find a girl that would go out with you like that. Then, after doing all these things, he'd come back and asked me out. And I said, me? You want to date me? Are you crazy?